Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's go. Nudelberg Daily Huddle. We're here. We're back for another fantastic, terrific Tuesday. Excited to be with the group, excited to share, excited to get the day started the right way. Good morning, gentlemen.
Tuesday is always a great day for me. Number one, it's a workout day, so I'm back in the gym, back in a routine. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that, like a week ago, Monday, I was on stage in the mountains of, it just got crazy. But I'm back. I'm in it. Tuesday is your day for content, which is always a relief. And May 4th always has cool things for us to talk about, right?
There's no way, and whatever level of Star Wars fan you are, there's absolutely no way to avoid today without talking about Star Wars, talking about the Force, talking about the 4th. But yesterday was a wild day. I have to share this story with everyone. So first of all, if anybody in Fort Lauderdale knows somebody who does like tires and like has a tire guy, like if you get a nail in your tire, you go to him. Love to get the connection for that because I just went to Tires Plus, which was a whatever experience. It was fine.
Whoa. My Midas boys, you gotta.
We don't have Midas. There's no Midas here.
I know.
So it's right down the street. So I drop the car off. It's going to be there all day. I wait for the call to go pick it up. I get the call. I call an Uber. I get in the Uber. We're on our way to the tire place. And unbelievable. We're in the right lane going north on US 1. There is a car in the middle lane who, as we're passing a Walgreens, decides it's going to turn into the Walgreens, cuts my Uber driver off, bangs the front of his car, pulls us into the parking lot with him. So we go into the parking lot, we park, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, I'm thinking I'm going to hop over here, get my car, get back for our 3:30 meeting. So already I could tell that there was like a language barrier between my Uber driver and I, but that's not uncommon, no big deal. Well, I didn't realize that he spoke no English at all. And the other driver of the car was deaf. So there's a complete lack of communication ability between these two. This one guy who ran into us wants to pay him $300 to get away, doesn't want to call the cops, doesn't want to do anything. Jake said,
For the AM accidents. I'm not in the car with you. I'm out.
This was actually in the afternoon yesterday. So it wasn't actually in the morning. But so I do the right thing. I call the cops, make sure the cops show up there. I ask for a bilingual police officer. They come. I make sure they get the paperwork filled out. Everything works out. It was about an hour and a half delay on my day. But wow, what an experience. And only in South Florida do you get into a car accident where one driver speaks no English and the other driver is deaf and only reads lips.
It actually sounds like a Seinfeld episode. I mean, it's just totally perfect, man. Just, who does that happen to? How does that happen?
The first thing I texted Jake was, you can't make this shit up. Only me does this happen.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But hey, listen, you're healthy. Nobody got hurt.
Everybody was safe. Everybody got taken care of. Everybody got the paperwork they need. So all worked out well. I'm glad that I could help merge or bridge the communication gap between the two and get somebody there that could help us. But wow, what an experience. But so part of being a Jedi and Star Wars is do the right thing, right? Just do the right thing. And I felt like I did the right thing yesterday because I was literally a half a mile away from the tire place. And I was like, I could just walk. Like I could just leave right now. Like they don't need me. I wasn't driving.
If you left that guy there, he'd have been taken advantage of.
1,000%. That guy would have tried to do something, pay him something, leave him there. He was very skittish and worried about the cops being there, but glad to do the right thing, take the time out of my day.
As he is well known to do, do not pick up the unicycle because that would be the creme de la creme of the Seinfeld episode.
I'm not picking up the bike either with the way things are going.
It's so great.
Well, if that story didn't wake you up, I got something else that will. Shay, give us some wake-up music.
Hell yeah. Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up. Come on. Come on. Wake up, everybody! DJ
We're on.
So Devin Newton says, you're like a magnet for car accidents. It's really unbelievable. And last week, just to like really show you how bad it is, I was on the way home from the gym and similar thing happened to me where a guy tried to make a right-hand turn from the left lane. I was able to stop and swerve and get out of the way and didn't collide with him. But the drivers in Oakland Park in general are just not very good. It's just a very, very
That whole east side is crazy. Before we get going, big shout out to this gentleman because he got on the ball.
Yeah, shout out to Glenn for joining the Get on the Ball roster yesterday. Really appreciate you joining the club and being a part of the membership group, and happy to help you as you go along your journey, as you go through, mindset, time management, modern business development, and then obviously the LinkedIn strategy. So however you need help, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask us questions. We are here to help you get through it. So thank you, Glenn, for being on the ball. But today is May 4th, and I don't know if people actually know the origin of how May 4th happened, but I think people just think because of Star Wars, May the 4th be with you, and this where it started is an incredible story. So on May 4th, it was 1979. It was actually the day that Britain elected the first female prime minister, Margaret Thatcher. So on that day, a paper put out, the London Evening News put out a headline that said, "May the 4th be with you, Maggie. Congratulations." And that's the start of it really going, viral in pop culture and where it comes from. But we can't talk about Star Wars without really introducing it with the music. So I gotta know, are you a Star Wars fan? Like, are you
Negative.
a Star Wars guy? Not at all.
Negative.
Did you see the originals?
Negative.
Have you ever seen a Star Wars?
Negative.
You've never seen one?
No desire.
Oh my God, it's
Star Wars,
unbelievable.
the closest I'll get to Star Wars is Spaceballs, which is the
classic. Rick Moranis.
Right, Mel Brooks movie, which is absolutely a killer. So I love that. And I think the next to that would be the ride at Disney World. That's it.
Unbelievable. So for a guy who loves pop culture, just some of the stats behind the Star Wars franchise, which for those of you who don't know, Lucas Productions company is who owned it and eventually sold the rights to Disney recently for the streaming, but it's the 5th highest grossing media franchise of all time, estimated $70 billion. There's 9 movies. The first one was released in 1977, and it actually works backwards. It's like they started in the middle and they told 3 and then 4 and then went back and told 1 and 2 and then actually went back in time with the way it goes. But there's TV shows that you can stream on Disney. There's amusement parks, video games, merchandise, licensing, books. Unbelievable. They've done more than 10 billion in the box office. So what are you laughing at?
Because it's just the people that are commenting, there's so many people who have not seen it. And I know it's a great franchise, but I don't think anybody walks around going, I've never seen Star Wars. We've been embarrassed into like oh shit, I may be the only person on the planet, that didn't see it, but I have no fascination. There's no fascination for me. I don't get it.
So I think you would if you watched it and really got into the storyline of it, because the entire movie is about the struggle of dark versus light. Well, right? Darth Vader.
In all candor, I think if we mixed it with National Marijuana Day, we might have a shot at it.
Which, I mean, with the way you grew up and where you were timing wise, plus we had the cassettes. Like I remember the VHS tapes. Like I remember opening up our cabinet of VHS library, and we had the Star Wars trilogy at that point there. So I know you could have watched it at some point, but the story, for those of you who are not Star Wars fans, is the struggle of the dark side versus the light. There is the Empire and Darth Vader that represent the dark. There are the Jedis and the Revolution who represent the light. And when you look at what the dark side, represents in the movie, their primary goal is to control the entire galaxy. All they want is power and control. Their strength comes from anger and aggression, right? They don't really care about who gets harmed, what they destroy, how they go about accumulating this power. They just look to devour everything. They make no partnerships. They have a centralized leadership, and they lead out of fear, right? They lead out of fear, and the way they go about their business is through deceit. So I would say that it's the complete opposite of everything that we preach and teach in sales or for quality organizations. And it's the exact opposite fundamentally of what we think leads to success, right? So with that said, I'm not talking about the dark anymore. We're going to talk about the light. So give me morning motivational music and let's talk about the light.
Another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Madman drummers, bombers, Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat. As the adolescent bumps his way into his set, with a boulder on my shoulder, feeling kind of older, I tripped a merry-go-round with a berry of leaves and sneezing and wheezing that collide, they crashed to the ground.
Revved up like a dude.
So it's a great song, but forever, I love just saying, revved up like a douche.
Which is not the right word, right? It's a deuce.
It's like, I know it's deuce, but it was like, come on, you douche.
So I have to give a shout out to all the comments that are happening right now, because the Spaceballs references are going off. But comb the desert, when they were actually out there with the comb, we were told to comb the desert. The your Druish line is fantastic.
My Schwartz is bigger than your Schwartz.
And right to ludicrous speed, so good. I haven't seen that movie
if you think about it, the people that were in that movie were all big stars. I mean, John Candy had a role.
Oh yeah.
Rick Moranis said, man, it was we may go to Spaceballs tomorrow. I mean, it might be a Spaceballs Wednesday.
I love it. But so transitioning to Star Wars Day, the thing about Jedis is that they harness the Force. So Shay, show me the Force, and then let's talk about how to be a Jedi in sales.
Yes, Jedi strength flows from the Force. But beware of the dark side. Anger, fear, aggression. The dark side of the Force are they. Easily they flow, quick to join you in a fight. If once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Consume you it will, as it did Obi-Wan's apprentice.
Vader, is the dark side stronger?
No. But easier, more seductive.
But how am I to know the good side from the bad?
You will know when you are calm. At peace.
So this is important because this goes to mindset. And, when we talk about mindset with salespeople, it's always about staying positive, right? You got to do the things necessary, whether it's workout, whether it's drink something green. The morning routine that we teach and preach to people is so that you're thinking in an optimistic way, which is the exact opposite of the dark side. If you start allowing those negative thoughts to take over, it takes over all of your actions. It takes over everything you say. It takes over the way you perceive everything, which is something that we've talked about all the time. So that's an important, I think, part of that movie is if you're a Jedi, you're calm. You're not letting your emotions get hijacked. You're staying in this place where you're able to see and think clearly, which allows you to operate differently than everybody else who's focused on all the negative of sales, which is all you ever hear about when people get in is, oh, you got to deal with all the negative. You got to deal with all the rejection. Bullshit. You get the opportunity to go make friends every day. What if that's the way you thought about your job instead of thinking about all the negative you have to deal with?
So it's interesting because in my career, I'm, managed and coached so many, and I'm prone to say, man, you really went to the dark side, so I use that where they're so negative that it's oozing out of them. But it happens without you really realizing it. That's part of the power of having a coach or someone who has your back. A very dear friend of mine reached out and said, I won't say his name, but he is a huddler. And he reached out and said, I need to talk to you, and this is a guy that was a client and, always, open door to call me back. And I spoke to him yesterday and he gave me this scenario. And I said, so let me just tell you this. I think you should be grateful that you have these three things going on. Like you're like in panic mode. What happens if you had nothing going on? He goes, wow, I never thought of that. I go, there's always possibility and optimism and, light, if you will. If you allow the light in, that is the one thing about the light is that you can block the light yourself. Most people do that. Self-sabotaging behavior that brings you down because you don't let the light in. As soon as the light goes in, it's like, wow, I don't feel so bad now. It's not so bad. It's crazy.
Well, it's amazing because in the movie Star Wars, the light and the dark have the power to harness the Force, but the way they use it is different. And like the mindset behind the belief in your value, right? Like you're going to be great in sales. You're not going to go to the dark side. You're going to be on the light side. The belief in your value, forget about the value of your company, your product. You need that as well. But if you don't believe that you have value to approach a CEO, to approach a CSO, a CTO, I don't care what C-level person you're trying to talk to, if you don't believe that there's value in you having a conversation with that person, you're dead before you even make the outreach.
So this whole concept really is inspiring me. I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I've used there is no try, there's only do,
Right.
So I've used some of the cultural things to take away, but this idea of Jedi, like I know what the Jedi is a level above. I say to people, listen, I will make you a ninja in LinkedIn in 90 days or less.
Right.
And that's the value prop. So when you get to that place, Bruce Lee was that guy, who got to a place where mind and body are just so in tune that you cannot be penetrated by all of the negative forces. So I don't know, maybe I'll watch Star Wars,
Well, the other thing about it is that they're master teachers and learners, right? They're educating other Jedis in training because they've reached that level, but they're not stopping with their learning. They're constantly looking at their process. They're constantly looking at the evolution of the environment. They're looking at the way things change to continue to bring in new information to evaluate the Jedi process to then say, okay, we're going to keep going with these things, or we need to make changes in order to continue to get better. That, to me, is the ultimate of ultimate. Whether you're a mastermind, whether you're a ninja, whether you're a Jedi, I don't care. The fundamental of constantly teaching people below you who are Jedis in training and constantly evolving yourself as a learner, that is the ultimate state. If you hit that spot in your life, I don't care whether you're 32, whether you're 60, that's the spot where you really hit the sweet spot of bringing value to other people and helping yourself develop continuously.
Yes, on the road trip, had a lot of time to talk. We had, watched the Kentucky Derby together. And he said to me, he goes, Dad, I got to tell you, he goes, now that I'm in the space and I'm learning and adjusting, he goes, I can't believe how much you've overcome to get to where you are. And it was like the best comment he could ever say, because I never let the downside take away from what the upside could be. Never did it. Now right. Mind training, mental conditioning, call it whatever you want, fortitude, but all of this stuff is a simple thing that's happening in your brain. There are, of all of the thoughts that go through your brain, there are 60,000 negative thoughts that go through your brain every day. If you don't have some way to combat that, it will eat you alive. It always does. And there's the people who are.
And once you have that mindset in place and you're thinking the right things, then it becomes about using the tools. And the two tools that we continue to talk about that continue to get backed up by more stats, and I want to give you some more recent stuff, but social media as a selling tool and defining what social selling is, according to Opt-in Monster research, 78% of salespeople who use social selling outperform their peers who don't use the strategy at all. And 31% of sellers say it has helped them develop a deeper relationship with clients. So understanding the power and the tools of social media in order to have success, in order to drive deeper relationships is really important, because I think when people say, oh yeah, I social sell, I just pitch people through their DMs all day long. You're not social selling. You don't know how to prospect through the feed. You don't know how to deliver value in the DMs. You don't have a process. Jedis have a process. They have a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. That's our cadence, right? That's your social selling cadence. That's your video selling cadence. These are all things that we talked about, that we've created, that you could say it's Star Wars and a Jedi. You could say it's Bruce Lee and a ninja, but it's that level of mastery that I think you need in order to be successful, especially in today's world.
You actually sound like you know what you're talking about. I'm impressed, man.
Well, you know what? The best part about this, and you talk about Jake, is that I've really had to get defined, because coaching a 23-year-old who's fresh to the market, who doesn't have any kind of previous experience. He's been in coaching. So really getting detailed in the process of creating a cadence for virtual coffees, time limits, not scripts, but outlines, and really giving him a toolbox to work with. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm allowing him to be creative and be his personality, which I know, but I'm giving him a framework to work within, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, so in the car, we went, we had dialogue about that, about the work he's doing with you. And then obviously I'm the cherry on top, but he was like calling me out. He goes, Dad, you're not giving me what I want. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm going, here's what it is. Now go do it. It's like, you got to get in the pool and start swimming. He was like, no. He goes, with the receivers, we would show them the route. We would show them what could happen afterwards. So he really gave me some perspective that was good and, new for me, because he is rookie.
Yeah, he's green.
I don't think he's rookie. So I think he's been around it. He's learned it. He knows it. And so it doesn't matter to him. He wants to learn it from the get,
Yeah, it's like Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask has played football his whole life. He's talented. He's got the ability. But if you just drop him in the swimming pool in the NFL, he's got no chance. But if Tom Brady explains to him exactly his process, this is the time I spend doing this. These are the actual things I'm looking at while I'm looking at film. These are the reports and how I'm breaking them down. That level of detail takes his talent to a whole new level. So we went a little bit over today.
Wait, I got one more comment. If you're Kyle Trask, would you give up your salary for the opportunity to live right by Tom Brady for a year?
If you're smart, yes.
I say amen, brother. If you're a salesperson, you get the chance to be next to somebody great. That's more value than the salary they're paying you. So think about that. That's the force.
Exactly. I love it. So on the day of the 4th, right, on May 4th, let the force be with you. Be a Jedi in the way you go about your sales approach today, deliver value to everybody, have belief in yourself, but most of all, just let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.